Max, you mentioned the ceasefire. Yes, it's on paper, people are talking about it, but it's not happening at all in the city behind me. In fact, the shelling and exchanges of gunfire have been intensifying in the last quarter of an hour or so, and they seem to be moving more towards the city centre rather than in the distance, those two hills which are slightly above the presidential administration. You just heard another thud there as well. Obviously, this is terrifying for civilians caught in the midst of that, and we understand there are dozens of residential homes around the president's administration that have been hit by heavy artillery. But let's wind back a bit to how we got here. You mentioned how the president's chief of staff was abducted 2 days ago in the city centre itself. Now, the government were worried that more key officials could be abducted too. The Houthi group, they're predominantly Shia, a group of militia tribes who've been sweeping across Yemen and taken the city Sana'a in the past few months. Their checkpoints all around the streets. They said they had detained, quote, the chief of staff because they wanted to stop a new constitution being implemented, and they wanted to give the president on warning about that. The government worried more key officials could be abducted too, put in what they referred to as a security plan, locking down some roads in the capital here. The Houthis say they went to them and said, look, open these up because the people can't go about their daily lives, and then the Houthis claim they were attacked. Now, that's not what the president's people are saying. They're saying the Houthis moved against the presidential administration. What's key now is the president is not inside that building. It is the subject, it seems, of an intensive shelling battle at parts that seems to ease and then get worse the next hour. We are hearing from Yemeni officials that they consider that building to effectively be the key to the country Yemen. Who controls that controls Yemen. That fight is vital. The president's not there. He's safe. He's at his residence. He's waiting to meet, we understand, members of all the political parties to try and talk through this ceasefire. It's not really happening as far as we can hear behind us, but we understand from the Ministry of Information that it's hard for people to actually reach his residence because those streets are being blocked and being fought over. So a tense battle on the streets really here that ostensibly is for power in Yemen.